Hey guys, so quick WoW video again. So I got this comment a day ago, and first off, they're saying simp. You keep using that word. I do not think it means what you think it means. Anyone who watched the video knows that I'm not simping for Sylvanas. Do I love Sylvanas as a character? Absolutely. Many people do. Do I think she's done terrible things? Of course. Do I think she has to be held accountable for those? Of course. The simps, this is what the simps would do. Oh my god, my queen, you didn't do anything wrong. These guys are just hating on you. Everything you did was for a reason. They're just jealous and they just hate you. You've done nothing wrong. You don't need to pay for your crimes. That's what a simp would do. That's a simp. Not someone who's saying, yeah, she needs to pay for her crimes. I flat out said, I don't care if they kill her off. As long as it's respectful. Because she is a character who is loved by many, who has been around since Warcraft 3, and Blizzard has a habit of taking important lore characters and just fucking screwing them over. Think about Warlords of Draenor. We have the Warlords of Draenor, some of the most badass orcs in history. You have Kargath Bladefist. Kargath, the guy who has a fucking, sword coming out of his arm, that he in there. If you watched his story, you'll know how badass he is. And what happens? He gets killed as a first boss in the raid. Not even the last boss, no, the very first boss we fight in Dire Maul is Kargath. And he gets taken out like a bitch. Total disrespect to an amazing character. Ner'zhul. Ner'zhul. Now there's a name everyone knows. Ner'zhul, who became the original Lich King. His spirit is still bound, apparently, within the Helm of Domination. The same Ner'zhul. So, when you go to Outland, you see pieces of it floating around. That was because of Ner'zhul. That was because of him. He opened up so many portals that the planet was fucking ripped apart. Yeah, that Ner'zhul. But what happens? He's taken out like a bitch in a 5-man dungeon. A 5-man dungeon. He's taken out. Blackhand, same thing. But at least he was the final boss of the raid of Blackrock Foundry. He was the last one. And it was actually a really fun fight. Once everyone knew what they were doing, it was actually a really fun fight. You have Kilrog Deadeye, who, these guys are so fucking badass that the chieftains cut out their own eyes, their own eye, so they can have a vision of their own death. So that way they can lead their people however, they, I dare say, see fit. Someone that important, I would expect to be closer to the end. He was, middle? Almost? Durotan, didn't have to worry about. Durotan is a boss in his own way. Respectful, honorable. You have Grom, who they totally fucked his character up. He's trying to enslave and conquer Draenor, not only Draenor, but trying to get to Azeroth as well. And then all of a sudden, we're done fighting Archimonde, And all of a sudden he's like, oh, we will never be slaves, and Draenor is free. It's like, dude, you're the one who tried to enslave it in the first place. Like, what happened in between? They totally fucked up his character. It's like, oh boy, he's redeemed, but why should we care? So Blizzard has a bad habit of fucking with important lore characters. You know, when I saw that Ner'zhul was being taken out as a bitch in a 5-man dungeon, not even a raid, a dungeon, I was like, what the fuck? What the fuck is this? When I saw Kargath getting taken out like a bitch as the first boss in the raid, I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? These guys are the baddest of the bad, most badass orcs on Draenor. And he's the first boss of the raid. So Blizzard has a really bad habit of taking important lore characters and just willy-nilly with them. And we don't want that for Sylvanas. She is really important to people. I mean, really important to people. So, like I've said, I don't care if they kill her off. I really don't. She's been around since Warcraft 3. She's helped out plenty in conflicts and wars. She's led the Horde for a short time. She's even tried killing herself. I mean, on top of Icecrown Citadel, after we killed Arthas, she was like, okay, well, the guy who made me like this, the man who killed me, took my soul to serve him, is now dead. What do I have to live for anymore? And so she threw herself off the top of Icecrown Citadel, impaled herself on a Saronite spike, and she went to the Maw. Instead of staying there, the Valkyr were like, yeah, we'll take your place. So you can go back because you don't want to be here. So she came back, and she also had Valkyr to serve her. So that anywhere or anytime she was close to death, they would take her place instead. But people forget that's the kind of she's still that kind of Sylvanas. This whole fucking I'm a genocidal maniac only happened in what? Battle for Azeroth? Which was an expansion ago? So her character has not been this fucking crazy genocidal, oh, I'm gonna burn down a fucking tree for no reason. Was she, like, I've said, was she dabbling with the plague and stuff like that? Yeah. But she's never done anything to the point where the Horde was like, oh, okay, we've got serious trouble on our hands with her, and we need to stop her now. It's never been. It's like, okay, well, she's got the plague, she's got that blight thing going on, but I think they kind of made her stop doing it at some point, and then with Putricide, he was continuing it without her knowledge. Also, it's Putris. I don't know why I said Putricide, but yeah, Putris, he was still continuing it without her knowledge. So there's that. But she hasn't gone off the deep end like she has in Battle for Azeroth. And that was only one expansion ago, so I don't know why people seem to think that, oh my god, she's crazy and oh, she doesn't deserve redemption. Is the writing bad? Yes. Because if they wanted her to have some kind of redemption, what she's doing now should have started a long time ago. So that way she's doing all these terrible things, and then she can, we kind of see why she's doing it. But it just started in the last expansion. So, is the writing bad? Yeah. But you see what they're trying to do here. Um, and I don't understand why people have a problem understanding that if someone like Arthas can get a redemption, or not get a redemption, but people want to see him be redeemed after all the terrible. He's the one who killed Sylvanas. He's the one who killed her. And how did she die? It's trying to stop him because he was going to destroy her city. In which case, he succeeded. He managed to raise Kel'Thuzad. Terrible things, and yet people are like, Arthas redemption. When? So I don't see why her being redeemed is so terrible. Is it just how they're going about it? If they're going about it the wrong way, then yes, I can understand that. But people are genuinely pissed off that she's being redeemed. Like I said, they said about the whole soul split things ages ago. They're just now putting it into to where we can see it. So it's not like this is some made up thing at the last second. We've known that a part of her was taken away. I mean, they've said ages ago that the Sylvanas we see is not the complete Sylvanas. It's basically all the hatred and anger and rage and despair that she had as she died. That she was left with all the negative emotions. I don't see how any person could not understand this. So, I mean, it's not like Blizzard is like, oh yeah, this is the other Sylvanas. So, you know, she was separated, and this is her good part. They're not just explaining this at the last minute. We've known this. And they're not just saying, oh, so she was separated from herself, from her, they were separated, so she's not responsible for any of her actions. Okay, we're good. She's redeemed. They're not doing that. And that's what people are failing to see. They're not just saying, oh, she wasn't responsible, she's redeemed. They're not doing that. She is responsible. Her now that she's complete, she can feel the emotions of what she's done. She can see the scope of what she's done. She can say, yes, I'm ready for the consequences. And if they said, yeah, we're going to execute her, she wouldn't have a problem with it. You know, like I've said, she's not going to do Garrosh and you're like, oh, well, I'm going to escape into the fucking past. No, she will stand there and she will be executed and she will go out the ways that Sylvanas knows how to go out, with her pride, with honor, and not running away. So no one is saying that she's innocent here. Only a handful of people are saying she's innocent, and those are the simps. Those are the simps. Oh, my Dark Queen, he did nothing wrong. He did everything that she needed to do. Those fucking elves deserved it. Well, I love you, my queen. Those are the ones who say that she did nothing wrong, and that's a very, very small part of the community. It's just kind of like with recent real life current events. You know, you have a case where you have evidence that someone faked a hate crime, but then you still have people simping over him as if, oh God, he did nothing wrong. Just like that. Oh, don't worry, Juicy Smooye. We believe you. Those people are just hating on you. You didn't do anything wrong, despite the fact that he was shown rehearsing things beforehand. But sure. But it's just like that. You have a small group of people who are going to simp, who are true simps, who put no blame on that person, who try to fucking blame everyone else. So everyone is trying to say, oh, Sylvanas, those people, the simps for Sylvanas are the ones saying, oh, she didn't do anything wrong. It's everyone else's problem. Teldrassil and the night elves living there deserved it, and this and that, and she's not responsible, and she shouldn't have to pay for her crimes, and this, we love you, our queen, and never go do anything wrong, and So, like I said, it's not hard to understand. If people who have done worse than her are able to have the possibility of redemption, aka Arthas, the man who killed her in the first place, the man who killed Uther, the man who killed plenty of innocents on his way to, in Quel'Thalas, you name it, he's done it. And yet, if people want him to be redeemed, why not her? It's different with him because they had ages to redeem him. So if he was to be redeemed now, it feels natural because it's not like he just started to do terrible things. He started doing terrible things all the way back in Warcraft 3. He comes home, he stabs his own fucking father. He takes Frostmourne knowing that it's going to corrupt and possibly change him. And he's like, oh, anything to protect my people. And he kills his father, he kills his mentor, he kills Sylvanas. So, terrible things, and people still say, Arthas redemption when? That's all I'm saying. No one's forgiving her for her crimes. No one's saying she shouldn't be held responsible. No one is saying that this is the best writing in the world, because it's not. They could do much better, and I wish they would. Like I said, if they started ages ago with this, but this genocidal maniac Sylvanas only started in Battle for Azeroth. So, but all of a sudden, this whole redemption thing does come out of nowhere. It's going to be jarring for people, as opposed to if it started a long time ago and they slowly built up to it, kind of like Illidan. But Blizzard they said that it's like, well, when we wrote him into the Burning Crusade, we really didn't have any real story for the guy. We just knew that he was the big bad of the expansion and you had to take him down. But then they sat there and people were asking, like, why are we fighting him? We want to see him again. We want him to be redeemed because what was he doing? No one was ever really telling us. So they're like, you know what? They're right. We're going to bring him back. We're going to have him in Legion. We're going to give him this huge redemption arc where, he acts like a complete fucking badass. We see him take out Gul'dan. He's now partying it up there with the Pantheon. Mortal, having deep conversations with Sargeras. He's been redeemed. He did terrible things, and now he's helping, the world, the universe, by keeping Sargeras as a prisoner with the help of the Pantheon. He's been redeemed. So, that's all I'm saying. But if you guys want to see a character redeemed, who would it be? I would like to see Mankrik's wife. She never had a chance. I would like to see her get a redemption story. Has Mankrik's wife been found in the Shadowlands? Because you would think with such an iconic character like his wife, that there would be some kind of nod or a reference to her in Shadowlands. So has there been any reference to her? Because she's one I like to see. And not a redemption for her because, we don't know what kind of life she led. But I'd like to see her get some kind of screen time. When we find her, there she is, just dead. You know, kind of looking like Yamcha, just like, she never had a chance. So, Mankrik's wife would be a really good one. A more serious one. I mean, they're already. I don't know if they're setting up for an Ajara redemption, because we did save her, and I certainly hope she's not the kind of person who would forget that, you know, hey, if it wasn't for us, we'd be dead right now. But I would love to see an Ajara redemption, having someone who is powerful as her helping us. Sargeras, people want to see Sargeras be redeemed. Look, he goes around fucking destroying planets, and people want him to be redeemed. So if he can be redeemed, why can't Sylvanas? The dude, imagine having the fucking Titan of his strength on our side. He is the strongest of the Pantheon. So if we can convert him and have him as an ally, who else would be really cool to have or to see redeemed? I don't know. Let me know. Like I said, Sargeras would definitely be a cool one. You know, he spent eons traveling through the cosmos, destroying planets, being a complete fucking dick, murdering not only a few thousand people, no, he was wiping out entire planets. Imagine all the life on that planet. Hundreds of billions of lives just snuffed out in a second. His crimes are far worse than Sylvanas, because his is on a freaking cosmic scale. People want him to be redeemed. And that's what people need to think about. If you want someone who's like Sargeras to be redeemed, a Titan who can go around stabbing fucking planets and not just killing a few thousand people, just annihilating every species on that planet, every man, woman, child, flora, fauna, you name it, gone. If he can be redeemed, so can Sylvanas. But it's the same thing with Arthas. Sargeras has had time. He wasn't just some crazy homicidal maniac for no reason, and it wasn't just out of nowhere. His story's been told for a while now. We know why he's been doing it. We know what his end goal was, and he has had time to work up towards that redemption. Sylvanas, it just came out of nowhere. It's like, oh yeah, remember in the last expansion when we made her like all fucking crazy and shit? Yeah, we're gonna redeem her now. Even though she like did crazy shit in the last expansion, she's been doing even worse crazy shit in this expansion, working for the jailer. But we're just gonna redeem her now. If it had been built up, like, so if she had stayed with the jailer, for, you know, say he was the big bad of the next expansion or so, you can slowly build up to a redemption. Because someone as powerful as the jailer, I find it hard that we're gonna take him out in this expansion. The dude is fucking powerful. And we're just gonna be like, okay, well, you're a bad guy, and so we're gonna kill ya. You know, we could barely fight you in your freaking half-naked form, and now you're fucking super-powered, but somehow we're gonna kill ya. I would have loved to see the jailer as a threat through expansions, maybe another expansion or so, or at least one more expansion that has him kind of in the background, where maybe like the first patch or the second patch, we take him out. You know, kind of like a Gul'dan kind of thing, where Gul'dan is a fucking dick the entirety of Warlords, and then we get to Legion, and then he gets taken out in the Nighthold. Someone like that, someone who's a threat for the entire expansion, and then he'll die partway through the next expansion, and that'll set up the next story. But no, you have this big bad like the jailer being taken out in the same expansion. Gul'dan was nearly as powerful, and he lasted not only the entire expansion, but like part of the next expansion. So I agree with people when they say that the writing is bad, and like I said, I wish they would have given her more time to be this crazy Sylvanas, do these terrible things, so that way when a redemption happened, it wasn't just out of nowhere. But like I said, there are some people who just flat out don't want her to be redeemed, saying, "Oh, she's done terrible things." As I said, Sargeras, cosmic level. He wasn't just wiping out hundreds of people. He wasn't just burning down trees. No, he was slicing entire planets into two, destroying every human life, or not human life, but every living creature, every animal, every man, woman, child on that planet, which is far worse. So, but like I said, let me know what you guys think. That's going to do it for me. You guys know the drill. I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.